Some people look up to Ainsley Earhardt and look up to her as a role model. Some people see her as someone who supports bad things with their position. This split has been there since she became famous across the country as a co-host on Fox News' Fox and Friends. And since millions of people watch her morning show, she's kind of famous now. And in Ainsley's life has been a storm, as it is for most famous people. Betrayed by the hands that said they would love her forever, she has been through a lot that has left her feeling empty and lost, but she has been brave enough to stay relevant even now. We're going to look at the sad story of Ainsley Earhardt. Most people still praise her for being strong when things went wrong. Some people say she is one of the most controversial stars of our time. Some people agree, but they don't see the good in it. A lot of people were interested in Ainsley before she became famous, but she was just a little girl from Spartanburg, South Carolina. Dale and Wayne Earhardt, his parents, worked hard. Her family moved around a lot when she was a child. The first place they lived was in the Foxcroft neighborhood of Charlotte, North Carolina. When they moved to Columbia, South Carolina, she was still in elementary school. And Ainsley wanted to be an actor when she was a teen. She did theater and never missed the Grammy and Academy Award shows. It took her parents to talk her out of becoming an actress. She also listened to what her part-time boss, Colombian dentist Richard Boyd, had to say. He told her she might want to follow his path. He told her that as an orthodontist, she would get to work with great families and have the freedom to visit her dream city, New York, whenever she pleased. And Ainsley went to Spring Valley High School while her family was still living in South Carolina. She was said to have worked very hard in school. She also did a lot of things outside of school, like dancing, tennis, and softball. There was no doubt that Ainsley wasn't afraid to work hard. It's easy to see why, since her father had 3 jobs to support his family and make sure his kids didn't miss out on the things their friends did. Dale and Wayne also made sure that Ainsley and her siblings went to church and did well in school. At breakfast they read Bible verses, songs, and notes that were meant to inspire them. Dale left home at 7 a.m. because he taught early childhood development in Richland District 2. Wayne got his kids ready for school and then went back to work as a basketball coach at Ford College, then at Dorman and Orangeburg Wilkinson High Schools. He then got a job in sales and started his own business to save money for their kids' college. And Ainsley went to Florida State University after high school. She studied biology at Florida State University in Florida. She liked her group and being a student, but she didn't like her work. Then one day she watched Lisa Gibbons, who was born and raised in Irmo, talk on TV about how her time at USC helped her get ready for a job in TV. Ainsley moved to the University of South Carolina and got a BA in writing there. This was the first step she took to return home. She wanted to work in New York City and become a TV reporter after she graduated. But one of her teachers told her to take things slowly and first build a strong base. She thought about this a lot and chose to become a reporter at a small CBS station in Columbia. She started to connect with people on a real level when she worked as a morning news anchor during this time. She stood out and soon got an award from a town magazine for being the best on-air performer in her early years. Even though she was grateful for the awards, they weren't her main goal as a writer. And Ainsley showed that when she went to New York City to write a story about middle school kids in South Carolina who were raising money for firefighters after the September 11th attacks, the students raised almost $500,000 for a new fire truck to replace the one that was lost at the World Trade Center site. And Ainsley thought that this amazing act of kindness should be shared with everyone. Later, Ainsley worked for a news organization in San Antonio, Texas, where she led a morning news show during the week. Because that's who she is, she did things that had nothing to do with her job, just like she did in high school. One of these special things she did was finish a half marathon in Austin, Texas. She went flying with the U.S. Army Golden Knights and flew an F-16 with the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds. It is clear that Ainsley loves to step outside of her comfort zone. This trait would help her job in the long run. 6 months after moving to San Antonio, Ainsley got a call from Fox News that changed the course of his career. These people were impressed by all the work she had been doing to build her business. Fox News asked her to come to New York City to try out. This interview, though, wasn't like any other. Ainsley would be in front of a famous person. To that point, Roger Ailes had just started Fox News, and everyone in the business knew how important he was. No one would have been scared to be sitting in front of a hero, not even Ainsley. Roger noticed that right away. He also knew about ability, discipline, and being honest, which isn't a surprise, since he had built a huge empire. Without hesitation, He saw right away that Ainsley had a great mind for journalism and offered her a job in his network. She said yes to the offer, and soon she was going to New York City. Even though Ainsley was leaving Texas, she took everything that made her real with her. People from all over the country were hooked by how real it was, especially those from the South and the Midwest. People from other parts of the country admired how she didn't have to forget who she was to get ahead in her work. And Ainsley stayed true to her Christian faith and conservative beliefs, which affected how she behaved on air. She simply wouldn't separate her work life from her views. The fact that she talked to preachers and other religious leaders in interviews shows that she thinks religion should be a part of public conversation. Many fans found this to be a breath of fresh air because they knew that other celebrities and media figures had stuck to talking about secular topics. And Ainsley was smarter because she didn't make other people believe what she thought. Instead, she let her own beliefs guide her actions and words. Some people, even those who weren't religious, were more open to her because of this. Soon after, she had her own show on Hannity, called Ainsley Across America. She also co-hosted Fox and Friends Weekend, All-American New Year's Eve, and America's News Headquarters. She was also on the live desk in Greg Goodfeld's Riday as a guest. Ainsley reached the top of her dream, though, when she joined Fox and Friends in 2016. Later, she told him, "I can finally breathe." She also said, "I'm in the job I always wanted, and I worked so hard to get here. I worked across the country on the weekends, late at night and overnight. I would come in after 8 p.m. and stay all night to host the morning show and do the headlines. I worked crazy hours and loved every minute of it. And I'm grateful. I'm finally in the job I love." This confession showed that her dream had come true. She worked hard to get along with her co-hosts, Brian Kilmeade and Steve Doocy, who were both seasoned pros, even though she had already reached her goal. The fact that Ainsley can connect with people on a personal level, even when the conversation is about politics, makes her a valuable member of the group. Since she stands firm for Christian values, she is a voice for people who feel their views are being under attack. She has been very angry about how she thinks mass media is biased against traditional values. Being honest with her fans helped her connect with them, and it's still doing that. She helped change the show's tone and direction as a co-host on Fox and Friends. She has gained fans who like the show's mix of news, commentary and lifestyle material because of her faith-based and values-driven point of view. And Ainsley is now a big part of the next project she had a dream about. President Donald Trump is a big fan of the show, and is said to have tweeted more than 100 times about Fox and Friends in his first 8 months in office. This isn't surprising because Ainsley has always been a big fan of the president, even when it has been controversial. Because she was a conservative politician, she was at the center of heated national arguments, where she defended the administration's choices and policies. And Ainsley kept up her image as a loyal and outspoken conservative by sticking to her political views. For example, she supported controversial actions in foreign policy and leadership choices in federal law enforcement. This stance got her praise from people who agree with her, but it also got her criticism from people who don't. Some people have said she didn't really mean to bring her faith into her work, which is why she did it. A lot of people have said that her religious views are used to build her personal brand or protect her politically. With social media, it's also easy to find out how people feel about something. Anyone who isn't involved in the situation can see how divided people are when they are asked if Ainsley Earhardt is liked or not. And Ainsley has had problems in her personal life as well as her work. Most of her problems have been in her relationships. They were married for the first time. Kevin McKinney was also a graduate of the University of South Carolina. They were married for a while before getting a divorce. Later, Ainsley said that the breakup happened because of issues with communication, differing values, and rising emotional distance. This is a common problem for many couples in modern relationships. For her, the divorce was particularly painful. She had to deal with loss, grief, guilt, and self-doubt. She was also getting a lot of attention from the media, which made it even harder for her to heal. And Ainsley turned to her faith for comfort and direction during this time. She relied on prayer and spiritual thought to help her get back on track. Later, she started dating Will Proctor, who used to play quarterback for Clemson University. Many aspects of their relationship stayed secret, but it ended, leaving Ainsley to deal with heartbreak, loss, and the difficulty of moving on while being watched by everyone. Being raised as Christians and having a strong religion brought Ainsley and her husband Will Proto together. On October 13, 2012, They got married at the All Saints Episcopal Church in Winter Park, Florida. It was a celebration of the beliefs they both held dear and a promise of a future filled with love and devotion. And Ainsley and Will were thrilled to announce that they were pregnant 2 years into their marriage, after trying for years to get pregnant. But their happiness didn't last long. The sad news of a miscarriage was shared at a regular prenatal visit. It was already hard for them in their marriage before they lost this person. And Ainsley felt lost after this terrible event. She was overwhelmed with sadness and worry about the future. She was so thrilled about being a mom that she couldn't handle the denial she had been through. She felt insecure and bad about herself, and she wondered if she could take a child to term. She also worried that she might never get to experience the joy of motherhood. Though she and Will would have another child together, the death of their first child left a deep wound in her heart. Their love story took a happy turn though, when they had their daughter Aiden Jo Proctor on November 5, 2015. This happy event seemed to show that the future would be full of family happiness and hope for many years to come. But in a sad turn of events, rumors spread that Will had been cheating on Ainsley. This broke their seemingly perfect world and left Ainsley reeling from betrayal. The affair may have happened years before she found out about it, but when she did, it broke her heart and made it hard for her to reconcile the man she loved with the man she now knew. The weight of this fact made a rift that seemed impossible to heal. After 6 years of marriage, Ainsley announced their split in October 2018. The next day, Will filed for divorce in New York. This was the final end of a marriage that had been full of hope and shared dreams. Will rejected the claims, saying they were not true. But a person close to the pair confirmed the cheating and said they had proof. A second person said that Will had been cheating on Ainsley with one of her best friends, which made the situation even more heartbreaking. Because of this deception, Ainsley no longer trusted her husband and felt very loyal and friendly toward him. A bigger tragedy made the pain of cheating even worse. Ainsley's story was already very sad, but her mother Dale Elise Giles Earhardt died in 2022. Dale was a religious woman who had been sick for a few years with diabetes, a stroke and problems with her stomach. And Ainsley felt better after her mother died because she thought her mother was at peace and with Jesus. She put in a lot of work to deal with her loss. She also worked on raising her child and for a while choosing to stay single so she could heal and find strength within herself. Soon though, stories started to spread about a strange man. By August 2019, Ainsley started dating Sean Hannity, a fellow Fox News figure. The two met at a wedding at Trump National Golf Course in Bedminster, New Jersey, where they were both guests. Vanity Fair says that she was holding her Fox and Friends show from a studio in the basement of Hannity's Long Island home during the COVID-19 pandemic. At the time, she said they were not dating. After that, it was said that she and Hannity got proposed at their Florida church on Christmas Day 2024. Many people wished them a happy marriage and praised their efforts to keep things business. Ainsley has an impact that goes far beyond her job as a TV show. As a writer, she used writing as another way to talk about her beliefs and personal life. One of her books is a personal memoir about her faith journey, the lessons she learned from heartbreak and failure, and how her faith helped her rebuild her life when things were hard. Love, kindness, hope, and support are big parts of her second book, written for children. Ainsley wants to leave children with a strong moral base. Character building is done in a gentle way in this book, which teaches kids the value of kindness and mental support. Both books were very well accepted by readers, but they also got bad reviews. Still, both of them made it to the New York Times top list. At the same time, Ainsley Earhardt's career as a strong voice in the business continued to grow. At Fox News, she is now seen as an important person. Ainsley has done a lot of great things in his work: a Daytime Emmy Award for Outstanding Morning Program, and an honorary Doctor of Humane Letters from the University of South Carolina, are just a few of the awards and honors she has earned. Ainsley is known for more than just her work as a lawyer. She is also known for her charitable work. She actively supports local groups and causes because she thinks it's important to give back to the places that have helped her. Her dedication to empowering women, and her desire to bring attention to important social problems, show that she is truly dedicated to making a difference for the better. Being an American and the American dream are two things she often says when asked what she is most proud of. She has done a lot of the second thing. On the flagged avenue of the Americas, she works at Fox News and lives on the Upper East Side of her dream city, close enough to walk to Central Park. Students who want to be like Ainsley and have her job often hear her say they need to be patient. It took her about half her life to get to where she is now. She says, she is in her 40s. Always say yes and be ready to help out is her motto. If you want to keep a good mood, treat everyone the same and don't bother anyone. You'll get through it. A lot of people are moved by Ainsley's story. Even though she's been through a lot of bad things, she decided to heal and do well. People should learn this lesson, even if they don't agree with all of her ideas.